My name is Rick Rasby. I'm beef specialist at the University of Nebraska. Today I'd like to visit with you about dry lighting beef cows and some management considerations. We've dry lighted beef cows here at the University of Nebraska for the past 3 years, and we'd just like to share with you some of the management considerations and some of the things that we're doing in our dry lot cow project. The idea would be is that when you have cows in the dry lot, you do increase the opportunity for them to be injured, and so the idea here would be to minimize the possibility of having cattle injured while in the dry lot. Conduct a routine maintenance check routinely and often. Check gates, make sure that they lock, make sure that when you got to move cattle in and out of pens that those gates swing freely. Also make sure that there's no protruding objects that animals can basically bump up against or even cut themselves on if they run into those kind of protruding objects. Make sure that the lot area is free of any kind of debris. Make sure that the bunks are clean and they're debris free. Also, if you have the opportunity, time breeding and calving seasons when there's not a lot of mud. In our dry lot cow project, we're calving cows in July, and so mud typically isn't a concern when calving cows in July. Also, the breeding season is later on in the fall, and we very seldom have a lot of moisture late in the fall. And so the conditions of the lot are not muddy. Now, if you were calving maybe in March or April, there might be the opportunity for a lot of mud in the pens. And so you might take a look at it. If you're going to have a dry lot cow enterprise, you might want to look at trying to maybe calve and breed at a time when the lots aren't very muddy. Also, look at the opportunity to provide an area for the calf only and the cow can't get into. And this would be probably important during the breeding season when there's a lot of activity. You know, when you dry lot cows as compared to managing cows in a pasture, they're confined to an area. And so there's a lot of close contact. And, you know, one of the major concerns is diseases. So calf diarrhea. And that's really a concern for folks that are calving cows out in a dry lot. So most likely scours are going to occur in newborn calves. The data would suggest that older calves are shedding the scour virus to the younger calf. And so how you can minimize exposure of young calves to older calves would help reduce the incidence of scours. Pneumonia or respiratory diseases can be a problem. Mostly calves are susceptible when they get 90 to 120 days of age. And so the idea would be is that if you bring, you're an actual feedlot and you're bringing cattle in, or you're bringing cattle from another source, if you're not even a feedlot, how can you minimize the commingling and the spreading of diseases in that situation? The other thing is how can you reduce stressors? Any type of stress, especially on a young calf, compromises the immune system. And so look at opportunities to reduce stress. Pink eye coccidiosis can have a greater occurrence in the dry lot. You know, you think of pink eye and you think of dry lot dust and that kind of thing. And so how can you minimize dust in a dry lot situation? Colostrum is important, especially if you calve cows out in a dry lot. Colostrum contains immune globulins, and immune globulins are the calf's first defense against any kind of disease. So it's important that you get the colostrum in the calf early in life as compared to later in life. I'll show you a graph here in a few minutes. This would be a graph of immune globulin in the bloodstream of the calf. And when you think about it, immune globulin basically is passed to the calf from colostrum. Immune globulins contain a mechanism for the calf to fight off early calf diseases. Along this x-axis here is age of the calf, and this is in hours. And then immune globulin on the y-axis in the bloodstream of the calf. So you see a dramatic reduction in the ability of the animal or the calf to absorb immune globulin. So by 24 hours after calving, the ability of that calf to absorb immune globulin from colostrum is reduced to almost zero. So the idea here would be to get colostrum into the calf early when it has a high opportunity to get those IgGs or immune globulin into the bloodstream so that it can fight off those early calf-foot diseases. This is a graph that basically illustrates calf scours. You notice newborn calves up to about 5 days of age, you see very few deaths due to neonatal calf diarrhea. And as you increase in age from 0 to 15 days of age, you see an increase in deaths due to calf scours. And then after day 15, you see a reduction to almost 0 by day 26. And so the idea here is that calves that have the scour virus shed to younger calves or newborn calves. And so the idea would be to how can you provide an environment for that newborn calf where it is not exposed to older calves who may be shedding the scour virus. What we do in our system, we don't have as many pins, but this would be what we'd call the Sandhills calving system. We've kind of modified it to fit into our feedlot system. The idea in a Sandhills calving system is that you have a number of paddocks, and instead of pairing out, you basically move pregnant cows forward. So every 12 to 15 days, you move pregnant cows to the next pasture, leaving pairs behind. And then 10 to 15 days later, you move pregnant cows forward. And so what you're doing is you're limiting the exposure of young calves to older calves who may be shedding the scour virus. The other thing is that you're providing a clean environment for that newborn calf. And so the idea, this would be a way that you could limit the amount of deaths or the amount of scours in your dry lot situation. You may not have this many paddocks or pins, but even if you had 2 to 3 pins, and being able to move pregnant cows forward and leaving pairs behind would help reduce the amount of calf scours in a dry lot situation. And so this is just the idea is that you have cow-calf pairs here and move pregnant cows forward every 12 to 15 days to reduce the exposure of young calves or newborn calves to the older calves who may be shedding the scour virus. So just some logistics. Bunk space is important. In our situation, we limit feed these cows in a dry lot, so there's a lot of competition at the bunk. And they're fed once a day. So non-lactating cows, 3 to 3.5 foot of bunk space per cow. Lactating cows with a calf at their side, 3.5 to 4 foot, because that calf's going to be coming to the bunk to eat along with its dam. Ingredients, especially in a limit-fed ration situation or in all ration situations, ingredients need to be weighed accurately, mixed thoroughly, delivered uniformly into the bunk, into the entire bunk space. So if you have 70 foot of bunk space, utilize all 70 foot of that. Don't just deliver feed into 40 feet of that bunk space. Deliver the ration or diet about the same time every day. And then if you do have the opportunity or another pin, sort young females from older females. In a limit-fed situation, these young cows can't compete at the bunk with their older counterparts. Just some pictures to help illustrate some things. This would be a dry lot situation. This would be an 8-foot apron in front of the bunk. This 8-foot apron, especially in muddy conditions, allows the cow and the calf easy access to the bunk and probably reduces injury to both cow and calf. This would be at bunks, and again, you deliver feed to the entire bunk space as compared to maybe only half the bunk space. You don't have to have a lot of sophisticated equipment, but you have to have equipment that works. You got to have a feeder wagon that can mix the ration thoroughly, and as important, you have to have scales on that feeder wagon so that all ingredients can be weighed accurately. This is a nice graph that shows distribution of cow age in your herd and the percent of those cows that are in that particular age group. These are cows that were limit fed, 75 head per pen, 4.5 foot of bunk space, limit fed a diet. These are mature cows that are body condition score 5s and 6s, and this would be a 2-year-old cow in the same pen that condition score is about a 4. What this graph says is that in your cow herd, about a third of your cows are going to be 2s and 3s. And again, in a limit fed situation, these young cows just can't compete at the bunk. And so having that group in another pen will pay dividends and also probably give these young cows an opportunity to maintain weight and body condition in a dry lot situation. A couple more logistics, water, plenty of it, fresh clean water tank at a height that the calf can drink out of. Lot space in our situation, about 400 square feet per cow-calf pair. Bunk height is important. Bunk height needs to be such that the calf can also eat and access feed in the bunk. And then if you do have the opportunity, maybe have an area that the calf can occupy that the cows can't. And this might be pretty important during the breeding season when there's quite a bit of activity in that tight pen. This would be just some examples. This would be a dry lot situation, a 5-acre loafing area, if you will, that calves only have access to. Put up a hot wire. Calves can crawl underneath and cows can't. Again, if you're in a dry lot situation, you could actually hot wire off maybe a back portion of the pen that the calf can get underneath this hot wire and occupy and the cows can't. This is a couple of examples of waters. This water here is, these calves can access the water, but if they were any smaller, it would be difficult for them to drink water out of this tank. This is an example of a tank where these calves, the water tank is low enough that these calves really have easy access to water, and even calves that were younger and smaller than these calves that are illustrated here would really have access to this water tank and easily drink the water out of it. This would be an example of having some bunk space for the calf, plenty of bunk space. Here's a cow and calves eating side by side, and so they're going to compete at the bunk, and so if there's plenty of bunk space, you're probably less likely to get calves injured during the feeding period. This is another setup where they have a canopied area, and the calves can only get in this canopy area and eat out of the bunk, and the cows have to stay to the outside. If you did have an area fenced off in the back of a pen, you can have this kind of setup where you can start calves eating, and they will. But I'll tell you, at least our experience has been, is that when you provide feed to the bunk, that calf is going to come and eat out of the bunk with the dam. And so still, even if you have this in maybe the back of the bunk, back of the feed area, or back of the pen, you're still going to want to have plenty of bunk space so that the calf can come to the bunk along with its dam to eat. So again, just to illustrate some points, work with your veterinarian to develop a herd health program that fits your dry lot situation. Limit fed rations, we would probably recommend limit fed rations. Weigh, feed accurately, mix it thoroughly, deliver that limit fed diet to the bunk about the same time every day. Make sure you have plenty of bunk space. I'm talking, cow-calf pairs up to 4 foot of bunk space per pair, plenty of clean, fresh water. Also in a dry lot situation, make sure that the water height as well as the bunk height is at a height that the calf can easily access either the water or the feed. And then again, during the breeding season, provide an area for the calf that the cow cannot get into. This is our beef website, beef.unl.edu. We have our beef reports, so you just double-click on this navigator bar here. You'd access our beef reports. We have our information on our dry lot project. You can find that in the 2014 and 2015 beef reports.